This is Scott Jones, and this is Deborah De Pinto, a married couple who seem to be living an ordinary life. Here they've just entered a laundry room, but something seems off. They start arguing about something. Tensions rise and voices grow louder.
Here. I don't know. Whatever. Get away from me. Get away from me.
Suddenly, Deborah collapses and dies. At first, it seemed like a tragic accident, a woman gone too soon, possibly from a heart condition.
I don't know, dude. Like, she went like this. She started going like that and stuff.
Scott was devastated, telling the police how much he loved his wife, sobbing uncontrollably.
They got my whole life, dude. Please help her, please. Oh my God.
I love my wife and she loves me, man. And I have no idea how that went down like that today, dude.
It looked like an unfortunate and sudden death, but there was more to this case, much more. What Scott didn't know was that a hidden camera placed by the laundry room's owner had captured everything.
I put up a Google Drive, I downloaded the video, it's an hour long if you need more. I just got chills up in my spine, I couldn't watch it.
And this is the exact moment Scott Jones realized he had been caught.
So this is the video that we were talking about.
That doesn't prove anything and you know that.
It shows us that something happened in that room. What are you doing? Are you looking at her? Are you trying to figure out what to do next? Help me.
Scott and Deborah Jones had been married for over 10 years. On the surface, they had the perfect family. 2 children, a daughter aged 13 and a son 11. But behind the scenes, their relationship was falling apart. For years, Scott and Deborah faced economic struggles. They had no stable home and were living in a van. Despite the difficulties, Deborah was the backbone of the family. She worked tirelessly for 10 years as a chef at the University of Colorado's campus food services. Deborah was well known in the community, and her career extended to working at various restaurants in the area. But Scott's story was different. In our research, we couldn't find any record of Scott holding a stable job. It seems he wasn't contributing much to the family's finances. Instead, his behavior became more possessive, threatening Deborah many times throughout their relationship. He couldn't provide the security the family needed, but still tried to control her. Over the years, Scott and Deborah's marriage became more toxic. Arguments were constant, but Deborah never reported any of Scott's threats to the police. She endured it in silence, focusing on her children and her job. But everything came to a breaking point. In the months leading up to June 18th, 2018, Deborah had made the decision to divorce Scott. She had finally had enough of his controlling behavior. On that fateful day, the two found themselves arguing again, this time in this laundry. Scott begged Deborah not to leave him. Deborah, fed up, couldn't stand to be around him anymore. At approximately 7:55 p.m. on June 18th, 2018, the Boulder Police Department received a chilling 911 call. The voice on the other end belonged to an 11-year-old boy named Michael Jones. He had just discovered his mother, Deborah, lifeless on the laundry room floor. In the background, Scott Jones, Michael's father, could be heard screaming.
Please help me! He's not breathing! Please help me!
As police immediately rushed to the scene at the Ponderosa Mobile Home Park, located at 4475 North Broadway. Within minutes, they arrived to a heartbreaking scene. Scott was kneeling on the floor beside Deborah's motionless body. Just a few feet away, Michael stood frozen in shock, his eyes locked on his mother's lifeless form.
Please help me.
You find her here?
I don't know.
You've got to help my wife. You've got to help my wife.
They got
my
her.
whole life, dude. Please
help her, please. Oh my God.
Take a deep breath, okay? The best people that can possibly be working on her, okay? We got paramedics on her, all right?
Oh my God.
Let's see what's going on.
The officers quickly began administering CPR, desperately trying to revive Deborah. Shortly after, EMTs arrived, but it was already too late. Deborah was pronounced dead at the scene. As the officers surveyed the room, they noticed something unusual about Scott's behavior. When questioned about what had happened, Scott told the police that Deborah had been complaining about the laundry room being too warm, saying she found it hard to breathe before suddenly collapsing. He speculated that she might have suffered a heart attack, suggesting that her weight or other health issues were to blame.
He's like 220 pounds, man. I told her, man. You gotta take care.
But Scott's story didn't add up. He seemed strangely detached, bouncing between talking about how much Deborah meant to him and then suddenly bringing up her alleged drug use and poor health. The focus of his story kept shifting, raising red flags for the officers.
We got her. We got her.
Bro, should you hold your hand or something?
I know, but they're taking care of her right now, okay?
I don't know. Always hear about it. Smokes that damn pipe where they heat up the end and they stick it in that stuff. Oh God. That's my whole life in there, man. That's my whole life. Oh my God, Mama. Oh God.
What made the situation even more alarming was Scott's reaction to his children. Despite his wife's death and the trauma his children were clearly going through, Scott wasn't behaving like a father trying to protect them. Instead of comforting his son or showing concern for his daughter, Scott seemed indifferent. When asked where his 13-year-old daughter was, he shockingly said he had no idea.
I don't know.
At this point, there was no clear indication of foul play, but the detectives knew they had to follow standard procedure. Scott was asked to join them at the police department for further questioning. Detective Don Dillard of the Boulder County Sheriff's Office was assigned to lead the investigation and conduct the interview with Scott. During the interview, Scott repeated the same story he had given at the scene. He claimed that Deborah had been grasping for air, struggling to breathe in the laundry room before she suddenly collapsed. According to him, it all happened in an instant, and he didn't know what to do.
I don't know, dude. Like, she went like this. She started going like that and stuff.
I didn't know about it. Any discussions about your relationship, how things are going?
No.
He again expresses his love for her, pretending to be a worried, innocent husband who just happened to be there.
I love my wife and she loves me, man. And I have no idea how that went down like that today, dude.
Okay.
When she fell, yeah, she was face down, she fell.
The detective suspects something is off and pushes a little to see how Scott will react.
Did something happen in that room that...
No way, man. No way.
I mean, I know accidents happen. If you're arguing, did something happen that went too far? Did she have a heart attack and die?
No, man.
The interrogation lasted for several hours, but without any incriminating information, the detectives couldn't charge Scott. Exhausted and wanting to be with his children, Scott asked for permission to go home.
So I'm tired. I want to get my kids home. And I've answered a lot of questions. I've been very cooperative.
Scott was free to go without charges, but then the police received a call from the manager of the Ponderosa Mobile Home Park.
I put up a Google Drive, I downloaded the video, it's an hour long if you need more. I just got chills up in my spine, I couldn't watch it.
And this video taken at the scene was quickly handed over to the sheriff's department, leaving no doubt in the detectives' minds that Scott's story was far from the truth. They called him back in and showed him the video. Scott knew he was caught, but that didn't stop him from trying to deny it.
So this is the video that we were talking about.
At approximately 6:50 p.m., an outdoor surveillance camera recorded the daughter walking to the car while Scott and Deb were seen leaving the trailer and heading toward the park's shared laundry room. It seems that by this time, they were already involved in a heated argument. A series of thefts led the trailer park owner to install security cameras overlooking the lot. Items from the office had also been disappearing, so the owner set up a hidden camera specifically to monitor that area. If not for this, a terrible crime might have gone unnoticed. Although the camera was positioned in the main room, its audio recorded everything.
I thought there was some common sense with you.
Well, I thought you knew that you don't remember being there.
He doesn't know.
I didn't. So that's why you tell me. What are you doing over there? I'm getting one. Get out of here, this common sense. We're fighting for an hour over nothing. I'm done. We are never going to be together.
You're so cruel. Is that all you got, cruel and mean?
You're in my way.
Weird.
Get out of my way. No, whatever. Get away from me.
Get away from me.
Oh, don't touch me. Stop. You can't force me to love you anymore. Get out of the... Where's the door? I'm trapped. Get away from me. You make me feel terrible. Get away from the door.
Scott places his hands around Deb's neck and begins to strangle her. She resists, struggling to break free, but gradually weakens until she passes out. He remains in the room with her for the next 47 minutes, completely silent, grappling with the reality of what he has done and who he has become in that instant. Deborah De Pinto, 44, a mother of 2, lies dying on the cold floor of the trailer park's back room. Scott was unaware of the camera in the laundry room, and as he watched the footage, he nervously denied any involvement, despite the video clearly showing his action.
That doesn't prove anything, and you know that.
It shows us that something happened in that room. What's going on during that time? This entire time you're still there with her. What are you doing? Are you looking at her? Are you trying to figure out what to do next? Help me.
After 47 minutes, Scott finally leaves the laundry room, visibly nervous.
Oh my God.
He exits the building, heads to the van, and shortly afterward returns to the laundry room, this time accompanied by their 11-year-old son. Scott's choice to bring his son into the laundry room to see his unconscious mother was quite unusual for a parent.
He's gone, man. Oh my God. Oh my God.
From the video, it's clear that Scott spent nearly an hour in the laundry room after his fight with Deb. People in similar situations often try to create a story to explain what happened. By bringing his son to the laundry room, Scott might have been trying to make his story seem more believable. Scott not only showed Michael his dead mother, but also convinced him to call 911.
Mama, wake up! Mama, oh God! Oh God!
At 7:56 p.m., Michael used Scott's phone to make the call. When the dispatcher asked for more details about his mother, Michael described her as being purple, cold, and with a bruise on her nose. The dispatcher then asked for their address, and Michael handed the phone to Scott, who could be heard screaming.
Please help me! He's not breathing! Please help me!
As emergency units rushed to the scene, Deb's 13-year-old daughter, who had been seen heading to their car earlier, was still sitting inside the vehicle. She later revealed that she had received a text message asking where she was and saying, "Mom's dead," but she didn't reply out of fear. It was later discovered that Michael had used Scott's phone to send the message. The daughter said she wasn't sure if the text was real, but she was scared nonetheless, and worried about her own safety, fearing she might be next. Meanwhile, Scott continued to deny any wrongdoing.
Hey, where do we go from here, man? I need a lawyer, don't I?
But as more evidence came to light, his supposed loving behavior towards his wife started to seem questionable.
Do me a favor, stand up.
Do you want to keep talking to me? Because if you do, I have to read you.
Well, where do we go? Let's talk our options. Let's discuss our options.
When officers entered the room and informed Scott that he was being arrested for his wife's murder, the tone of the interrogation changed dramatically. Instead of continuing to deny any involvement, Scott became willing to cooperate with the sheriff's office.
But I didn't think anything through. I didn't think about anything. I just reacted. I don't know what happened. I just reacted. I don't know, man. It's nuts.
As the questioning intensified, he began to recall moments leading up to the incident in the laundry room, while also emphasizing that there was no premeditation involved. Scott claimed that Deb was cruel and pushed him to his breaking point, leading him to lose control. It's possible that Scott made these statements in hopes of having the crime considered as one committed with malice but without premeditation. If a defendant is found guilty of a crime involving a killing with malice but without premeditation, the sentence is usually less severe than for a crime committed with premeditation.
What happened?
I don't know. You think I am not kicking out of myself? You don't think I feel bad?
Well, I know you are.
Nah, man, it wasn't good enough. I'm taking the kids. You ain't taking my kids. Shit. Threatening me. With me, man. With me. Just couldn't stop being a monster. Couldn't stop being cruel, man. You don't know what she's done to me. You don't know the cruelty she's done, man.
There was a noticeable shift in how Scott spoke about his wife. Initially, he had described her as the love of his life, but his tone changed, and he began to portray her as a cruel person who provoked his lapse in judgment. It also became apparent that Scott might have been trying to build an insanity defense by attributing his actions to mental distress caused by Deborah's harsh treatment. His likely goal was to avoid responsibility for his actions.
I believe it makes a man temporarily insane for a minute, man, when you think about it. You know that? You don't know the troubles. You don't know the pain. You don't know what I've endured. You don't know what that woman put me through. You don't know what she did to my son. You don't know.
Scott was arrested and charged with second-degree murder in the death of Deborah De Pinto. The coroner's autopsy report confirmed that she had died from strangulation. Investigators from the sheriff's department and the local district attorney's office sent the recordings to experts at the Rocky Mountain Information Network. Forensic audio and video analyst David Weller worked on the recordings to separate the sounds of Deb and Scott from the background noise of the washer and dryer. This analysis became key evidence for the trial. The district attorney's office later upgraded the charges to first-degree murder. Based on the evidence, it seemed that Scott Jones's actions were intentional, as he had other options to prevent Deborah's death, but chose not to use them. He showed no interest in stopping, and the video footage revealed he had ample time to call for help and contact 911. After being taken to his cell, Scott showed no remorse for his actions, a stark contrast to his behavior when the police first arrived at the trailer park.
You've got to tell my wife. You've got to tell my wife.
They got
my whole life, dude. Please help her, please. Oh my God.
During the hearings, testimony from Deb's friends highlighted a history of growing resentment and anger from Scott. Text messages and comments from others who had heard Scott say he could strangle Deb reinforced this view. As the case went to trial, the jury's task was to determine whether Scott's actions constituted first-degree murder, which involves premeditation, or second-degree murder, which stems from a sudden burst of rage. Premeditation doesn't require extensive planning, but focuses on whether Scott had time to consider his actions, foresee the consequences, and possibly change his mind. The difference is crucial, affecting both the severity of the crime and the sentence. At the time, Colorado law mandated a minimum life sentence for first-degree murder with the possibility of the death penalty. Second-degree murder could result in a prison term of 12 to 48 years, depending on the circumstances. The prosecution aimed to prove that Scott had been escalating towards this confrontation and argued that his previous statement suggested he had at least considered killing Deb. They believe Scott had pursued her into the building to continue the argument. Defense attorneys April Coleman and Catherine Harold contended that although Scott had fought with Deb, including choking her, he did not intend to kill her. They suggested that Deb's heart condition might have contributed to the fatal outcome, and argued that the killing resulted from a moment of intense anger and loss of control. Scott did not testify in his defense. After both sides presented their cases, the jury deliberated for 10 hours. Early in their deliberations, they requested clarification on the differences between first and second-degree murder. Ultimately, they found Scott guilty of second-degree murder. Local news later revealed that the initial vote was 11-1 in favor of first-degree murder, but one juror's dissent led to a consensus on second-degree murder. Scott was also found guilty of felony child abuse for bringing his son to the crime scene. On March 9, 2020, Scott Jones was sentenced to 48 years for Deborah De Pinto's murder and an additional year for child abuse. While Jones may spend the rest of his life in a Colorado state penitentiary, his two young children will bear the emotional scars of this incident for the rest of their lives. If you found this case intriguing, please like the video, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to the channel. Also, hit the notification bell to stay updated.